PianoTechSupport here. Welcome to another video. Today I will be reviewing some performances from Reddit. A couple of days ago I made a post saying reviewing piano performances for YouTube, any skill level, who is interested? And thank you everyone for your replies and your recordings. Obviously there were so many recordings, so I cannot go through all of them. Yeah, just thank you for your interest, guys. And basically the way this will work is I listened to all of the recordings completely, so don't worry, I listened to the whole thing at least once, maybe even 2 times or multiple times, but due to the video time constraints, or rather I don't want the video to be 2 hours long, I will just show the moments that I want to give you advice on. However, you and the viewers can check out the full performance. In the description of this video there will be the full link of every performance from this video, and I will try to give about 2 to 3 minutes of advice, or whatever, how long it takes, of the most important things that I want to tell you about your performance. So the first performance I'll be covering is by user bfryer. Great username, by the way. He says, "Thanks for doing this. Would love for you to review mine. I struggled to get this piece not perfect and have no teacher, so I hit a wall. I think it's right hand wrist flexibility, but not sure." So, and he's playing Chopin Scherzo number 1, which I really liked your performance. I think you're doing great without having a teacher. And now I want to show you what I think is the most important, which is actually your hand posture. So I will show what I'm talking about here. Let's look at the first phrase. Okay, so there's a moment here where I can pause, for example right here, that you can see your left hand posture. Basically the arm comes down nicely, but somehow there's almost like a turn here where this part of the hand seems to be lower than here the knuckle, and then suddenly it goes down again, which makes for not a great transfer of energy and power delivery. This actually makes it a lot harder for you to play technical things right. If you look at this, for example, you see the hand kind of reaches a low point here and then goes up again, and this is not ideal at all. And I also saw that your playing is mostly, if I can show from here, it's mostly disconnected from the keyboard, so to say. So your hand is kind of in the air. Here you see it very nicely actually. Your hand, the wrist is very high. It should be about here, and the fingers are kind of in mid-air and just falling down onto the keyboards. Onto the keys. So what I would like you to do is get the hand lower and more in the keys, because also then, for example, the right hand jump that happens right now, you see how distant you are from the keys. You should be right there hugging the keys and just slide your hand sideways, and this way you can definitely get jump right every time. So at the moment, too much airtime is basically the issue here technically. Your wrist rotation is not so much the problem. Wrist rotation looks fine actually, but as I said, the main issue here is that the hand is quite disconnected from the keys. So work on that, keep that hand low, and keep also your hand posture nice. I have a video on hand posture. For example, look at this right here. You can see the hand posture is really suffering, and as a result your technique will suffer as well. So I think most of it will be done by just fixing your hand posture. Okay, then we have Bank Bartlett, and this is a very good recording, a very good pianist, obviously high standard. So I will just say something that is also kind of complaining on a high standard, so to say. So there's not really anything I can say about technique. I think there's just one passage maybe that can be improved, but the main thing I want to talk about here is you play piano in a very controlling way. so you want to control everything, and your sound therefore, in my opinion, cannot fully expand to its potential. I will show you right from the first phrase. Left hand is very good, by the way. So if you look at the right hand, the way you phrased this was a little bit flat, and the reason for that is because your movements are a bit static, because you kind of distance yourself from the keyboard. So if you look at someone really good like Argerich or Kissin or Sokolov or whoever you like, you always look, they follow through with the arm. Every phrase is nice and follow through. So this was kind of a bit hard, the way you phrase, you see? And it doesn't allow the sound to come to its full potential. And then there's only small technical things that I want to tell you, is always when there's alternating melodies, that the notes are not fully clear, cannot hear all the notes. So for example here, you know, I would really like to hear da 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 da. All these last notes should be very clear and audible. So once more. So that's really all I can say for that. And also for, you know, during the piece, for all your here, for example, the way the octave is played, of course it's loud and it's proud and you do that nicely, but the way you deliver that is a bit hard because the arm doesn't follow through at all. The arm is not involved, and it really does make that difference from a hard and sharp sound, which we don't want. Rather, we want a full sound and a powerful sound, and you can achieve that by getting your whole body behind that. Otherwise, great performance, and thank you very much for submitting it. Okay, then we have OG, and on my profile, the Mozart Sonata, if you still got a slot open, and I did have a slot open. So this is the Mozart K310, first movement at music school, messed up some parts because of nervousness and memory lapses. So first thing I can say to that is good job for playing it in front of people. That's always the best exercise, is to play it in public, because you need to experience that kind of moment of being nervous and performing it. And that's the way you actually improve the most. So about your playing, most of what I can say is about your phrasing and the Mozart style. So I will just quickly say a couple of things here. Let me go to the reprise here, if Reddit ever allows to load. There you go. So there's a couple of things with Mozart that we need to be really careful with. Phrasing, articulation, dynamics, and I will tell you a couple of things right now. First of all, your left hand is just way too loud. Those chords are too loud. And then, if we look at the phrasing here, there should be a point where the phrase goes to, and actually you played it the loudest, which is not a critique, it's just saying you need to be aware of the phrasing with Mozart and where the phrase leads to. And I will show you now like a graph on the score, how exactly you should phrase it. So these are some basic things here that can help you, or actually if you play Mozart, you know, Mozart is just so incredibly difficult because we need to do all these things right, and these can help you to improve your Mozart. Otherwise, I would say, just if you have a piano teacher, which I guess because you're at a music school, ask them to go through with you the proper phrasing for Mozart. Honestly, the best thing you can do is keep playing in front of people, keep playing in these concerts, and that's the best way to improve. Okay, then we have classical pianist, and they say self-taught using synesthesia to memorize the notes. So I always appreciate wherever people come from. Some people come from just sheet music, some people come from synesthesia, some people come from even simply piano. It doesn't matter to me. So I listen to a recording, and the first thing that I need to tell you is, are you aware that this is not the original piece? So this is Chopin Etude Opus 10 number 3, but it is not the actual complete version of the piece. So this kind of doesn't have a middle section. If I show everyone here, and it finishes like this. So this is not to criticize anything, this is just me honestly asking, are you aware that this is not the original score that Chopin wrote? Because the middle section, the complete middle section is missing. And the next thing I can tell you is I actually did 2 videos on this etude because it's highly requested, and so these videos will appear right now, or you can also check the description for those tutorials. Then one thing I can tell you about your play is I like the movements you're doing, but you're doing quite a lot of them. It's actually a little bit too much of those movements. So I will show you what I mean. So for example, here at the beginning, you lift the hand again, just stay inside the keys, just stay in there. And the most important aspect of this etude is actually the legato. Legato, it happens in the outer voices. Now watch this, watch the top of the hand here, the top notes. I will show again here. And here it starts. You see the notes are separated, it's almost like a staccato. And if I show here, you can see the legato is not working that well. So this is actually one thing with apps like Synesthesia, they don't show you the articulation. So I don't know if you're using the score now or you're still using Synesthesia, whatever you use. Look at the articulation written in the score, because that's the original, and therefore you know, if you do that, mistakes like this cannot happen. As you can see here, there was barely any legato. So work on the legato, make sure you're doing the legato, and then do smaller movements with your hand that are smoother. Actually, my video covers probably almost all of that. So just go through the video and let me know if you're using Synesthesia still or you're using sheet music. And yeah, then just after that, just learn the whole piece, the original version, because I think it's much more beautiful. Anyways, thanks for your recording. Okay, then we have Matt Mallard, and he writes, I already know where some obvious mistakes are on my part, but I'm curious what your perspective is. Yeah, so I have nothing to say wrong about this recording. You're obviously doing well, learning the piano. I would actually like to know how long you've been playing, but I mean, you're definitely trying your best here, I can see. And there's only one basic general thing I can say about this, because I have not played Final Fantasy music on the piano, but there's still one thing that is just very basic I can bring up, which came to mind when watching your performance, is hand posture related, or mostly overall posture actually. So you're sitting very low on the piano, let me show, and your hand kind of comes from down here and goes up, and this is really not how you should play at all. So please sit higher up to the point where your arm either is straight or slightly better comes down towards the keys. So don't be in a position where your hand is actually going down because your arm is so long, or you sit so low that your hand actually has this kind of angle. So make sure the angle looks something like this, you know, or something like this. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but never it should come from down and go up, because the transfer of the energy you put in from, you know, using your arm, using your shoulder, everything, it just doesn't go around the corner basically. And your hand posture looks fine, but sometimes your fingers still bend. For example, here I found. So if you look closely, your hand looks nice most of the time. But right there you saw, for example, the fourth finger gives in right there. There, for example, yeah. And this is just something you gotta pay attention to, and the rest is really doesn't matter. The rest is fine, and piece sounds lovely. So then we have Yashi and Yash, and they send me a recording for Scriabin Etude, and they also have a competition next month. First of all the best in your competition, good luck. And the recording sounds very nice, again high level, so my feedback will be also more high level. I think there's something with your rubato. Sometimes the rubato is a little bit cliche, sounds like. For example, here, somewhere here it was. Here, yeah. So this was the rubato is good, of course, because Scriabin, successor of Chopin, you know, is the natural consequence, because he, of course, loved Chopin so much that he also implied this rubato. However, your phrase actually broke into two parts here because the rubato was so extreme. I will play again here. So be careful of using that much rubato. Be more on the side of, you know, Sofronitsky, or someone who was close to Scriabin. Your octave techniques looks nice. I will try to say something about that too. So octaves are played well, but there is not much direction in them, is what bothered me the most. So you play the octaves, but you need to think the octaves just as, think of it as a single note. And if you would play a line or a phrase that had only one note instead of octave, you would always make a phrase naturally. So think the same way when you play the octaves. Listen to this. So there is really not much phrase going on at all here, unfortunately. And try this, play with one single note instead of both, and you will immediately do a phrase, because obviously you're a good pianist. And then do the same thing with the octaves. And that's really all I can say. Other than that, great playing and all the best in your competition. Then we have My Piano Music, and they write, oh, I'd be interested, I'm recording, playlist is here, and yeah, this is the recording that they wanted me to listen to. And so this is kind of the Synthesizer style video here. There's really not much I can say about this. First of all, because I don't know this piece. It's just not my like type of stuff I play yet, anyways, right? But all I can say for you is work a bit on your hand posture. I can find some moments here that I can show. I think it was around here was most prominent. So if you look at the right hand here, your hand is actually not really, you're not really using any of rotation, arm movement, and also the fingers. So your hand right here, let me show again this part here. Do you see this kind of position? This is a very natural position. Natural in the sense that if someone wants to play piano, they probably think like this, but you really need to bend your elbows outwards so that basically the fifth finger is going to be around here. And do you see the fifth finger right here? So bend your elbow more outside. The right elbow should come out to the right side, and then your hand will rotate by itself. Your thumb will be more down here, and the fifth will be out here, and that's the position you should have. Even though, of course, now at this point you're playing the black keys, but even if you're not playing any black keys, you can see your hand posture is kind of always turning into this way. And I would really want it to be the other way, just more outside and turn that elbow to the outside, and it solves so many things. And yeah, that's just really all I can say from this, also from this angle, because it's a bit difficult to see everything from this angle. But yeah, nice videos, nice channel, and thanks for your recording. And then we have username Facto. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If not, I'm sorry. That is a nice idea. And yeah, they sent me 3 recordings here, and I thought, let's do the Chopin one. By the way, thanks for your comment. The Beethoven Sonata ranking sure is a spicy video, isn't it? So yeah, Chopin Nocturne Opus 55 number 1. I have not done a video on it yet, but I will certainly do so. Highly popular piece. And first of all, I like your playing. Your movements look very good, especially around here. I found you use very good movements. For example, this left hand, super natural, exactly how it should be. There is one thing that kind of bothered me through this recording, and you need to work on that, is the phrases often fall or break somewhere, especially in this opening phrase here. So if you start this phrase very quiet, yeah, doesn't matter what dynamic is written for any piece, okay? If you start the phrase very quiet, there's no way you can get more piano than that. Yeah, if you start triple piano, you cannot possibly go lower than that. So always make sure there's enough water under you, so enough room that you can do dynamic difference even down. So I would say just begin with a little brighter note, a little brighter sound, a bit more powerful actually in the melody. And then when the second time that it comes, then you can do a difference, you see? Because if you play so quiet and you play 2 times the same thing, it is unattractive to someone like me listening. So make sure that you have a little bit more brighter sound or a bit more powerful the first time. Listen to someone like Kissin, for example. They are not afraid of making like a mezzo forte or forte even sometimes, yeah, in the right hand, even in a nocturne, because the melody can be quite more than the left hand here. And other than that, really nice playing. Movements are very natural. That left hand looking great. For example, these movements are looking very nice and natural. So work on more planning your dynamics. Plan your dynamics very precisely, and don't be afraid to give a little bit more so that you can later differentiate the sound. So that's it. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I know it's difficult to give feedback in this kind of way. Obviously I have not heard you live. This was just through a recording, and I try to give my best kind of advice in 2 minutes. And don't take anything too personally. This is just on a professional level. I try to give you my input here. And thank you for everyone who sent me the recordings. All the links will be, of course, in the description. By the way, I also give lessons, so if you want to book a lesson, just head to the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.